Are you thinking about getting a cut capo and using them for worship? Well, I have a couple with me today and I'd love to talk about them. Welcome to Blazing Guitars. So the idea of a cut capo is that they're designed to simulate open tunings or different tunings. So you can see that this one has a notch cut out of it and it's much shorter than a regular capo. And the idea behind this one is that it's supposed to simulate DADGAD. So if I put it on, it grabs the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings, and you should be able to play in DADGAD with it. So your chord would look like this. That's your D. Now, we are capo 2, and we're still tuned in standard, so this is actually going to be in the key of E. So this would essentially be like DADGAD, but capo 2. So there's a couple different chords that you can use while you're using this capo, and I'll have a link to them below, but I'll just go ahead and hit our 1, 4, 5, and 6, and since we're in the key of E, we're going to do E, A, B, and C sharp minor. So our E is just going to be this. It's just going to be one finger, and you can hear it sounds really open. Okay? Our 4th, which is the A, is going to be this. Okay? And if you're really in DADGAD, you'd have to go up to the 5th from the nut. But because this is a capo and because of the science of standard tuning and the way that the strings are operating and the fact that you're just simulating it, you're not actually in DADGAD, you'd have to go to the 3rd from the nut, which is this. Okay? And then our B, which is the 5th, is going to look like an A2. Okay, and then we have that C sharp minor, which is the 6th. It's going to look like this. So we have E, A, B, C sharp minor. But where the cut capo really shines is when you can capitalize on having these open strings handy. So the biggest application that I found for it was playing songs with a lot of open strings, and especially in the intros. So like, for example, with Amazing Grace, I'd play it like this. Going into it. So the other thing about the DADGAD capo is that it works really, really well in the key of E. But if you want to use it for a different key, then what you'd have to do is combine it with a regular capo. So let's say I wanted to play an F sharp. So I'd go up to the 4th fret with that capo, and then up to the 2nd with that capo. So it'd sound like this. That's the basics of this DADGAD capo. And the cool thing about capos too is because, as I was saying with the science, it's still just standard tuning. You can actually play standard chords with the cut capo as long as you don't have any open strings. So like your G, D, E minor, as long as you grab that top string, C. So you can actually use like regular bar chords and regular chords as you're playing on the cut capo. Again, just as long as you don't have any open strings. So the second one I'd like to talk about is a Drop-D Cut Capo. And again, all these are linked in the description below if you'd like to go pick these out. But to be honest, this one I've been really kind of unimpressed with. I feel like it's really gimmicky because all it is just this notch to simulate a drop D. But for me, the draw of drop D is like the low notes and that one finger power chord that you can do. But because it's just a capo, this is your low note, which is not as low or cool as the drop D. And then you have to use regular power chords because it's just a capo. So you can't really get that grungy thing that you would normally for drop D. But if you're playing something like Rocky Mountain High, it's the perfect capo, and it's kind of cool because you have to reach around to grab that F sharp. So again, I feel like this is a little gimmicky. I've never really used it in church, but it's there and it exists. And what I would buy instead would be our third capo, which is called the SpiderCapo. And I have a love-hate relationship with this capo. I think it's an amazing idea. So essentially you have different saddles for each string, and you can actually choose which strings you want held down when you put it on. But putting it on is extremely obnoxious, and normally I'd edit this out, but just so that you can see, I'm going to leave this whole thing in. So we're going to go ahead and just capo 2. We'll do our 2 capos that we've already looked at. What you have to do is you have to put it on, and you have to clamp it down, and then you have to twist it. You have to make sure that all these saddles are lined up to each string. So I'm actually going to do a regular capo, like this, just to make sure that it's all good. Okay, and then from there, we can actually simulate different capos. So let's do that Drop-D capo that we had. And again, that would be like Drop-E. And then we can simulate that DADGAD. So if we do these bottom 2. And then where this capo really shines is that you can actually experiment with different tunings. So let's do an open A, for example. So I just have these middle 3 open. So that would be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. So that if I played all the open strings, I would have an A. Okay, which is pretty cool. And then you can just simulate even all the way up on the neck. You can try different things. You can combine it with different capos. So like a lot of those figure style guys will use multiple capos and then pull them off as they play the song. So there's a lot that you can do. And the one thing I forgot to mention about this capo in particular, which is a regular Kyser capo, is if you want to try a DADGAD capo but don't want to spend the money on it, you can just take your Kyser capo and turn it upside down. And if you can do it right, you can get a DADGAD capo, which is pretty cool. So there you have it. I hope that was helpful. If you're looking to get a cut capo or just try different stylings, I'd maybe suggest the SpiderCapo or the DADGAD capo and just try them out. They are really fun. I think for me, like the big problem with this is just how long it takes to get on and off. So if you are just like the guitarist in the band and not the singer like I am, then you'd have time between songs and sets and stuff to play with this, but I just don't have any time during a performance, so I've never been able to successfully use this in a live setting. But I have used like these DADGAD capos really well. So it just kind of depends on your scenario and your setting, but if you're looking to play with them, SpiderCapo is great, or just get like this DADGAD capo is awesome, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones out there. So there you have it. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.